When printed out, this is one heck of a legislation. It's like, and, oh, this one.
I know. Well, it's got like a finish nail in it for the staple.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are no changes to the agenda that I sent out. Do you need anything?
I'll take a pen if you have one.
I have an
I
extra
thought
one.
I had one. Thank you.
Check to make sure.
Thank you. I really thought I had one again.
Does anybody else have a comment card to turn in before we start?
It's always the most awkward part of the meeting.
Play down to the last 10 seconds.
Humans hate silence, don't we? We hate it.
I love it.
Like the elevator.
I'd like to call to order the Middletown City Council meeting for Tuesday, August 3rd, 2021. If we could start with a moment of meditation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This evening, I have one request to go slightly out of order. The applicant for legislation item number 3, ordinance number O 2021-63, has made a request of council that we table this item. If I'd like to make a motion to table.
Do roll call.
Oh, let's do roll call. That was the one thing I got out of order. Yes, please. Thank you, Tal.
Ms. Vittori.
Here.
Ms. Nenny.
Here.
Mr. Moon.
Here.
Mr. Mulligan.
Here.
Mayor Condrey.
Here. Okay, let's kick that back off. We have the applicant for legislation item number 3 has requested council's consideration to table the item. I would like to make a motion to table ordinance number O 2021-63.
Second. It's all yours.
Skank, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Nenny.
Yes.
Mr. Moon.
Yes.
Mr. Mulligan.
Yes.
Mayor Condrey.
Yes,
Ms. Vittori.
Yes.
thank you. Okay, the next matter is citizen comments. We have 7 citizen comments this evening. I would ask when you come up to the dais, please state your name and address for the record, and we have 3 minutes to hear from each one of you. So at the end of the 3 minutes, we'll have to cut you off if you're going, and I apologize in advance. It's not really the nicest thing, but we would love to have you guys come up and speak. We have them in a certain order. I have the first of Mr. Gary Woodward, if he wants to come up.
They're always in the order that they were received, just so people understand that.
Yep. Thank you.
Right. Gosh, I speak in front of hundreds of people at work, but this is kind of intimidating. Good to meet everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Gary Woodward. I live at 2210 Linden Avenue, Middletown, Ohio, 45044. And the reason for me coming down here to speak is it sounds like, after speaking with a few directors of public works and some engineers, that Linden Avenue is not going to be part of the road renovations. And I've got a petition with 100% signatures of everyone from Linden, from eastern Linden. When I say eastern, I mean from Sutphin to Edgewood, and that's around the area where they're removing the Lincoln School, to at least address the hazards that are present within the road. I have some pictures here. We can tell some of the hazards that are present here just from the corrosion of the road. I'm not for sure how we got the determination of not renovating that road, but it's a horrible road. See some pictures here. And I could pass these around if you guys would like to see them. It's totally up to you. I'm not for sure. So here's one of the potholes that they have filled in last year. The elevation and the grade is above maybe an inch and a quarter, so that right there is a hazard in itself. So not only does the road in itself present hazards, they also present secondary hazards. I was cutting my grass the other day, and some rubble and debris from the road and from the corrosion of the road had actually washed up into my grass. I was cutting the grass, and the lawnmower had shot out a couple pieces of rubble, and it hit my son in the eye. Luckily, he's required to wear PPE. I make him wear that just because of the work that I'm in. I'm a compliance manager for an IT asset disposition company, so I'm kind of, that's like my home run right there, is he's got to wear it. So luckily I wore it as well. Nothing happened with him. He didn't get hurt or injured. Luckily he didn't, and he was wearing eye protection. But the road is bad. So I ask humbly, so I'll read the top of the petition here. So we, the undersigned current residents of Linden Avenue, Middletown, Ohio, request the humble petition to whom it may concern to reevaluate the safety and condition of Linden Avenue. We are writing to appeal the decision set forth that denied the paving for the current and future renovations. We ask humbly to reconsider those affected to ensure each resident and passerby the safe operation of Linden. My kids ride on that road. I got 4 of them, and it's bad. So we just ask that someone reevaluate that road and do a risk assessment there.
Can I ask, I know you said you spoke with someone in city staff?
I spoke to, so first I got kind of the runaround because I didn't know where I was going with it. I spoke to people in the zoning department. I spoke with, I believe, a gentleman named Steve. I spoke with someone named Dave in the public works department. I spoke with an engineer named Gabriel, and I think the engineer was named Dave, the director. I think so.
Okay.
I'm
That
not
just
100%, but I know.
helps us track down how, where the communication system.
Yeah,
thus
absolutely.
far and
Yeah,
more.
I did speak with a couple in the public works department, and I spoke with 2 engineers, that's for sure.
Okay. And if you'd like to leave the paperwork with Ms. Skink, then she can pass it to us as well, and we can definitely get back with you on the status of this. And
Yeah, appreciate that. Thanks for the opportunity.
yeah, thank you. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Next individual I have is Ms. Erica Norton.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for letting me speak tonight. My name is Erica Norton, and I'm the co-owner of the Mindful Healing Center here in Middletown on First Avenue.
Do you have an address for Mindful Healing Center?
It's 1215 First Avenue, and we also own a couple other properties here in town, residential and commercial. And I just wanted to come and take the time to basically tell you guys what we do, who we are, because I feel like there are some misconceptions that are going around. We started our business about 2 years ago in Warren County, where we were welcomed with open arms. We offer counseling services for people who are going through addiction. And when we had that business in Warren County, we started to see that a lot of our clients were actually from this area, from Middletown. So when we went to go to expand for our second location, we decided to start looking here for properties. So we came and we bought a building and we did some renovations to update it, and we decided to open it up for women for the counseling services. And I just wanted to let you guys know that we don't offer detox. We don't prescribe medication. We're basically like the missing link. We're people that are coming out of residential treatment centers. So anybody who comes to our services has already been through at least 30 to 60 days of residential treatment. They have to have a negative drug screen to even get into our program. And once they're there, we offer case management, where we help them get ready for jobs when they're ready to go look for employment. We help them with housing. We do budgeting, training, nutrition, different life skills that some of them have never gotten before. We basically offer a support system so that when they do leave, they don't have to go back to the environment where they were sick, and they have something that they can feel a part of. And so that's what we have been doing here, and we have a lot of success stories so far, and we have people that have been through our program who have tried treatment in other facilities before, maybe 10 or 12 times even, and never had success. And now we have several that have completed our program and now are working citizens in Middletown, paying taxes, who never before were. They would always be living on the street or living off of government assistance. So a lot of them have gotten their license for the first time. They're getting their kids back when they were told that was never a possibility before. And we just wanted to let you guys know that we're not bringing people in that weren't already here. So we're here trying to help. So when we first came to Middletown, we were excited about the opportunity to be a part of the cleanup initiative that we thought was going on here. And so we have that track record here now, and we have some people that we brought that have been through our program that can speak to that. And I just wanted to let everybody know, because I know there's a bad name with treatment centers, and people think that we're just bringing people off the streets, that are going through detox, or we're giving medicated assisted treatment. We're not a Suboxone clinic, we're not methadone, we don't do any of that. So I just wanted to let everybody know that that's who we are, and that's why we're here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for all you're doing for these individuals. The next citizen comment I have is from Jessica Pugh.
My name's Jessica Pugh. I live here in Middletown.
Can you state your address for the record? Yes,
sure.
Thank you.
2915 Lefferson.
Thank you.
So I came to the Mindful Healing Center. I had gotten kicked out of my house by CPS. I was homeless, living in a tent in my backyard. I couldn't go home, and I found this place, and they took me in, and they made me feel like they actually believed in me, that I could do good, and through their program, through their staff, the counselors there, I've met the most amazing people. I have a support system that I never had before. I owe them so much. They've helped me become the adult that I was born to be. They've helped me get my life on track. I have a steady job. I got my license back. I got a car. I get to see my kids whenever I want to. And I don't have family here. I have my kids and my ex-husband, but my family, I grew up in Michigan. And so now I have a family here in Ohio. And what they're doing there is so important. I had went to California for treatment and came back to this place. And had I not, I don't know that I would be where I am at today. I needed that guidance that they gave me. I don't know what else to say.
That's all good. Thank you for sharing your
48
story.
seconds. Could I be done?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for sharing your story with us, and thanks for being a member of our community too. The next I have is Kelly Kuvar. Kuvar. Oh, sorry, that's a B.
I'm gonna read off my phone.
Okay.
So my name is Kelly Kuvar. I reside at 2615 Westminster Place.
Thank you.
It's 45044. I was raised here in Middletown, and then I left for about 20 years. I recently returned here after years of working in communities, in government, and in politics. Most recently, I worked in Washington, D.C. for several members of Congress on their reelection committees, where ethics and above-board dealings are absolutely required. They're held accountable for every dollar raised and every alliance they have. I spent the past few months curious about local government and really diving into council's activity. It's been a little confusing. There are some really good things happening and some potential that I am thrilled about coming back here. But there are some questions I have, so I want to thank you all for giving me this forum. After watching multiple meetings and reading minutes and noting that the mayor was beating the drum of transparency and accountability, I made an extensive records request for over 1,700 pages of her emails. There's an astonishing amount of detail in them, where the mayor violates not only her charter duties by engaging in day-to-day operations and being associated with plaintiffs suing the city, but also she violates her ethics opinion by engaging in conversations about the airport. For example, she recently chose to attend an airport commission meeting where she pointedly asked questions about the RFP for a new FBO. This is a violation of her Ohio ethics opinion, which specifically states she cannot engage in conversations of this nature. Division D of Section 102.03 of the revised code is mainly what I'm referring to, if you want to look that up. I also noticed that the lawsuit that was filed against the city by John Hart was sent from her personal home address, which this is all public information, easily accessible. So I encourage you to look that up. Not only that, she sat on the side of the prosecution at a hearing while her charter duty is to represent the city in all legal matters. These facts are mind-blowing, especially for a mayor who makes constant claims about doing the right thing and holding people accountable. A growing number of my fellow citizens are tired of being misled. So what is this council going to do to hold her accountable for the violations of this city's charter and the state ethics opinion she is bound by? How much longer will we permit her to flout these basic good government
That's 3
obligations
minutes.
before we take action? My interest
That's
is
3 minutes. I'm going to have to stop you there, and I appreciate your attention and accountability.
Is that there's not an exchange. I finished my statement.
No, there is a 3-minute limit, and
did I
this
read
council has voted upon a 3-minute limit, yes.
Thank you all for your time. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you for your attention to accountability.
Every day.
The next citizen comment I have is from Shauna Sullivan.
My name is Shauna Sullivan, and I reside at 1306 Fairmount Avenue, Apartment 2, 45044, Middletown. I came to the center about a year and a month ago, and I'm 41 years old and 27 years using, and I've been to rehabs before, and I've been to residential treatments, and I thought that I needed to go to a long-term facility because it hadn't worked for me. I had all the tools, I knew what to do, I knew everything, but I couldn't apply it. So I couldn't get into Sojo because they didn't have any beds open, and then I tried to get into modern psychology, but they couldn't take me because I had diabetes. So the center was nice enough to make an exception to let me in without, having gone to treatment, coming right from treatment, and I found out when I got there that it was perfect for me because I didn't need to be locked up. I had just the right amount of freedom, and it really helped me. And I'm, a little over a year now. I have a job. I got my own place, and they helped me with that. And I just have a dog. I got a man. I'm doing good. And it's been a long time. I haven't been sober for 30 days, and probably since I was 13 years old. So, 13 months is a good thing for me, and I finally have hope for the first time. Figured out a way to live without drugs and alcohol, and it was just a perfect opportunity there. We helped the community we gave out, we made Thanksgiving dinners. We passed out blankets and gloves and stuff to homeless when it got cold. And, it was just nice to be able to give back and just find a reason to live. So I just think that I don't know what I would have done without them. I think locking me in another facility would have I don't think it would have helped me. I got really lucky, and God was definitely on my side that day. It was fate brought me there because I don't think anything else would have worked. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing your story and for being an incredible member of our community. Next, I have Katie Jeffers. Okay, we'll move on. I understand Katie is not here. I have Kimberly Sizemore.
Hi, thank you for hearing me.
Can you state your name and address for the record?
My name is Kimberly Sizemore. I reside at 1221 First Avenue, Middletown.
Thank you.
I battled addiction for 44 years. A year ago, I met two very awesome ladies. And with their support and just a little bit of faith by both of them, I have managed to do what I never thought I could ever accomplish. I'm clean and sober today. I pay bills today. And I'm actually happy today because of the love and support of these two women. I was lost, didn't know where I was going to turn. But they had that faith in me that nobody else had. And I haven't spent one day in jail since I've met them. I am not lost and alone ever since I met them. And I just wanted to tell you how awesome that they are and what they have done just in my life. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm grateful that you are happy as you are. The last comment card I have is Jessica Hinsey. Oh, Hennies, sorry. Don't know.
Hello. I'm Jessica Hennies. I'm co-owner of Mindful Healing Center. And
Can you state an address?
address there is 1215 First Avenue.
Thank you.
We have the business there. We also own a couple homes in Middletown, some commercial space in Middletown. I was going to come here tonight and talk about things going on with my business. I was going to go into detail about the problems I'm having with the city, demanding repayment of a $10,000 grant for part of a roof that we had put on our building. That repayment is supposed to be done in 90 days. The city refusing to accept any new applications for any future grants for my business. I was going to talk about them failing to give me a certificate of occupancy for for what's going on, although I've completed everything that the building inspector and the fire inspector said that I need to do. But I'm not going to talk about that. I just want to talk about the people in this community and the need for what we do. We're getting a lot of pushback from the city on what we're trying to do here. And I just want to express the need that the city has. This city is, well, Butler County is geographically located in between Montgomery County and Hamilton County. There's always going to be a drug problem. But I don't see the city trying to work with us to help this problem. I am getting roadblocks every which way that I go, from permits to zoning to, what we're actually doing. And so I'm just here to try and get the city to work with us. We're trying to help the people here in the city. We're not bringing outside people in. We're not prescribing medication. We are simply teaching them a new way of life. And I just can't express how much this city could benefit if we work together instead of working against each other. The city needs it, and I don't know what else to say other than we would like to work with the city to combat this problem that is so prevalent in this area. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the hard work you guys are doing. Obviously, you're having a lot of good success. Okay, that concludes our citizen comments for this evening. Next, we have council comments. We'll start with Ms. Vittori.
I have none, thank you.
Mr. Mulligan.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a couple notes. Last Wednesday, I had the opportunity to present a proclamation, bittersweet event, the final Broad Street Bash. Congratulate them on over a decade of organizing and putting on musical events at the corner of Broad Street and Central Avenue. So my hat's off to those volunteers that made that possible. Really, I think it was one of the sparks that allowed for so many events to continue in our downtown and made it a entertainment destination. The Women's Wine and Chocolate, now the Craft Beer Festival. So many events. That's our city's living room, and really that group were pioneers in that. Also, a note, I know council, I believe, was aware of a letter that was sent to from the Oakland Historic District. Some representatives there were concerned about the infill housing that's going to go in, we hope, in the future at the Lincoln School site and Roosevelt. And I just want to assure those residents, I've spoken to at least a couple, that it was never the intention of this council member that there would be anything more than single-family homes there, perhaps attached, but it would be always owner-occupied was the intent, with architecture that would be compatible with the existing homes. So, yes, we do want to protect the integrity of the architecture and the owner-occupied focus of the the Highlands Historic District, the Highlands Historic District I was referring to. But our intent is to certainly have something that's compatible with those existing homes. So thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Nenny.
Very brief this evening. I would just like to extend an invitation to all of our new employees. We see all of these in the consent agenda each meeting, but we very seldom get to actually meet all of the names that are associated with our employees that are either advancing in their careers here in Middletown or joining us in Middletown. And I just would like to extend an invitation to them to join us at these meetings when they're being recognized. I think it would be wonderful to share that with the community. So that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Mr. Moon.
Yes, thank you. I had a couple items. To the folks that are here tonight that have been through some hard times, I just want to say that your stories encourage me. You've done a lot of hard work. So just know that we give you kudos for all you've done, for the hard times you've been through, and hope you'll just keep fighting that very difficult fight that will probably be a lifelong fight. Wanted to echo Mr. Mulligan's points on the Broad Street Bash. Even though that chapter is closing, I'm hopeful that there'll be a reimagined Broad Street Bash on a different side of town, and that some of that energy might move a little bit further east. Now that we've seen so much growth downtown where the current bash is, I look forward to seeing what might come on the other side. And last thing I'll mention, I'm sure the mayor's going to mention it since she has the shirt on, is National Night Out this evening at Smith Park. My boys and my wife are over there right now enjoying that. So special thanks to all the volunteers and the public safety personnel that helped put that on. It's really a great event. If there's folks that are here at home that have time to pop over after, I'd encourage you to do so. That's all I have.
Yeah, to add to that, I saw a zip line, I took a selfie with the llama, and there's all sorts of snow cones and something for everybody there. So as soon as we're done with this meeting, people can head on over there and enjoy that as much as possible. I will quickly address a citizen comment this evening. I do have an Ohio Ethics Commission advisory opinion in place that I asked for when I first became the mayor, and it specifically states that I should not engage in anything related specifically to start skydiving, which I have completely stayed away from, and more. In fact, I have recused myself from many things from the airport that I never had to, but for public perception reasons, have recused myself on extra items. I'm happy to share that advisory opinion with anyone and explain anything at any point in time. My email is open, my cell phone is open, and I'm completely 100% transparent with everyone. So I do appreciate attention, accountability, and transparency, and I'm grateful for comments. With that being said, we can move on to the city manager reports.
Madam Mayor, members of City Council, wanted to note for council as well as for the public that next week on Monday, August 9th, 5:30, there will be a joint work session of both this City Council and the Middletown Board of Education. It will be at the high school community room, and the topic for discussion will be a partnership proposal on expanding the community center. Also, and of course, fully open to the public. Also wanted you as a council to consider a possible day and time for a work session in the relatively near future, maybe sometime hopefully in August, where we could discuss the proposed budget that we will be providing you for the use of the ARPA funds. So something just to think about as far as looking at a day and time that may work. We would appreciate that. Also just wanted to note again, we continue to have significant difficulty in finding a finance director. We actually had the third candidate this week who we offered the job to turn us down. So it is a difficult environment out there. We do have a recruiter on board. They're trying to assist us, and they're working both on the finance director and the city engineer position. But for whatever reason, sort of post-pandemic, we continue to find difficult to find some of these higher level positions to be refilled. So we'll continue to work on that, but I just want you to keep that in mind because we are going into the budget. It will look a little bit odd because, we'll wind up doing it this year, probably without a finance director, at least for the first several months of that process. So that's everything that I have. Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to the consent agenda. Ms. Gank, will you please present that for us?
For your consideration this evening, we have to approve the City Council minutes of July 20th, 2021, to receive and file the following Board and Commission minutes. The Board of Zoning Appeals from June the 2nd, 2021, Architecture Review Board, June the 7th, 2021, Civil Service Commission of June 17th, 2021, and the Airport Commission, June 21st, 2021, to confirm the personnel appointments of Rodney Cheney to the position of Water Treatment Operator in the Department of Public Works and Utilities, Division of Water Treatment, and Grant Morton to the position of Maintenance Worker in the Department of Public Works and Utilities, Water Maintenance Division, and Kimberly Poe and Jennifer Ridenauer to the position of Senior Account Clerk in the Department of Finance, Division of Water and Sewer Administration, and Tracy Jenkins to the position of Executive Assistant for the City Manager. To receive and file the oaths of office for Trevor Fields, Jake Jackson, Thomas Lindsay, Tyler Rozelle, and Chelsea Spurlock.
I move to approve the issues and actions set forth in the consent agenda.
Second?
Ms. Gank, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Moon.
Yes.
Mr. Mulligan.
Yes.
Mayor Condrey.
Yes.
Ms. Nenny.
Yes.
Ms. Vettori.
Yes.
On the motion agenda, we have to receive, file, and accept the Tax Incentive Review Committee recommendations.
So move for adoption.
Second?
Ms. Gank, you please call the roll?
Mr. Mulligan,
Yes.
Mayor Condrey,
Yes.
Ms. Vettori,
Abstain.
Ms. Nenny,
Yes.
Mr. Moon.
Yes.
Are you ready for legislation, Your Honor?
Yes, sorry, I was just trying to get a detail out. Yes, let's go ahead and move forward to that, Ms. Cohen.
Okay.
Thank you.
Prior to proceeding this evening, we do have one matter we're asking to consider as an emergency. So I'd ask if there's a motion to waive the charter requirements for 2 readings and 30 days to enactment regarding Resolution R 2021-30.
I move to waive the charter provision requiring readings on 2 separate days and that Resolution R 2021-30 be declared an emergency and read one time only.
Second?
Ms. Gank, you please call the roll?
Mayor Condrey,
Abstain?
Ms. Vettori,
Yes.
Ms. Nenny,
Yes.
Mr. Moon,
Yes.
Mr. Mulligan.
Yes.
First matter for your consideration is in fact Resolution R 2021-30, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Federal Aviation Administration for the Airport Rescue Grant Program and declaring an emergency.
So move for adoption.
Second?
Mr. Palanick, would you like to make any comments on this?
Madam Mayor, members of council, we had described this a little bit last time. Basically, this is simply us accepting $32,000 in Federal American Rescue Plan Act funds for our airport. There is no local match required. It comes from the 2021 program year. And there is a significant amount of flexibility in terms of the way we can use it for general operating purposes and or for debt service. So just simply have to authorize our acceptance of the funds.
Great, any other comments or questions from council? Okay, Ms. Gank, you please call the roll?
Ms. Vettori,
Yes.
Ms. Nenny,
Yes.
Mr. Moon,
Yes.
Mr. Mulligan,
Yes.
Mayor Condrey.
Abstain?
Next matter for your consideration is ordinance number O 2021-62, an ordinance approving a request to rezone one parcel located at the southwest corner of Manchester Road and Dixie Highway from R2 low-density residential to PD plan development and approving preliminary development plan here for a second reading.
I personally have a request to table this legislation item. I would really like to, as Mr. Mulligan has pointed out in the past, and we've requested an updated master plan and a discussion for that before we start approving these. So my request would be to table this. Are other council members feel comfortable, or would you, I mean, what are the thoughts on that, I guess, from a council's perspective? I'm happy to hear.
Well, I have some reservations about this zone change. One, it takes away what is a limited amount of low-density residential space within the city. There's already an existing gas station across the street, potential for a third. It is a gateway to the city, and I'm not crazy about the plan.
Are there any
But if you want to table it, I would be fine with that.
So I guess my thought on tabling it is that we have a chance to review the new master plan, and we can actually look at everything from a bigger perspective, which was, I think, we've all kind of been wanting to have that discussion anyway. So I didn't, if we vote against it, for example, this evening, then it dies and we can't even discuss it at that point. And
I did find that it was clarified by zoning that even in a new master plan, this wouldn't necessarily change to a different, say, zoning. It wouldn't change from residential unless we decided to change it from residential through this ordinance. So I think that's something to consider. I think they also talked about the shape and size of the lot. And the likelihood that there would actually be residential development on that corner lot on two busy streets. For that reason, I think that all of those sort of questions were answered, and you either feel comfortable with it or not. I would feel comfortable with voting for it. I'm taking a vote tonight and not tabling it, because it doesn't seem like anything would change with the new.
to me, it's the big picture that can change, and not necessarily that specific area. So
Is there anything in the master plan, Mr. Palanick, that you know that talks about, for example, the number of gas stations or the locations of them and the density and the relativity to potential other gas stations? I mean, I'm just wondering what information, I would think that's what we'd be looking for, right? In terms of informing this decision any differently?
Councilor Vittori, I don't believe we are so granular within the plan that we actually talk about numbers of gas stations or things like that. So I think probably there's probably part of the land use plan would be called out what is expected at this corner, but I don't think we get into that detail of discussion within the master plan.
If the group would like to table it, I'm fine with that as well. I kind of see it similar to Mr. Mulligan, but if tabling it would bring some more comfort on the proposal, then I'm comfortable with that as well. Either way.
Does it affect, I know that the applicants are here, from a timing perspective, obviously you'd probably love to have it tonight, but if there was anything you wanted to say, I don't know, in terms of, if you have plans.
I would welcome you to come on up and have an answer, yeah.
Yeah, just because I would hate to delay, like if there's a loan that needs to close or something pertinent.
Yeah, my name is Amarjeet Tucker. I'm the new purchase who's going to buy this property. But if we don't get answer tonight, a deal going to be die. Because we have a closing set tomorrow with the property because we don't close yet. So we don't going to purchase if we cannot do what we want to do. So that's why we rather have an answer tonight than keep pushing it,
Understood, thank you.
And have you had conversations with any of the adjacent property owners? Have you guys talked to any
Yeah,
who might have any
UDF
opposition?
is not building soon. They are not building soon. We already talked to them because otherwise we won't be coming either. Why we want to be competition with UDF? They are not building soon. So we don't know when they're going to build or they're going to build or not. They don't have any plan yet.
And we didn't get any letters from
Yeah.
the last meeting when we sent them out to neighbors. Nobody responded, so that would be another way that if we would have gotten any comments.
And what led you to this particular property or location in Middletown? What, help us understand why you
Because
chose
we
this.
have 2 stations on Franklin, right off the exit, and one we have in Middletown, the Davies, and then we are building a couple more this area. So we have bunch of stations. That's why we know the UDF peoples too, So we supply our own, and we trying to build the brand new ones with nice looking. We building couple in Beaver Creek and Fairborn, that area too.
Well, again, sir, no, I appreciate your comments. I don't know if there's anything else you need to add to this, but yeah, it's simply the separation between commercial development and existing residential and potentially future residential development that gives me pause, just what do we want this corner to look like in 20 years from now? It's not about, what's there today, but what do we want a major gateway to the city to look like in 20 years?
Thank you, that helps us very much. It's clear that tabling it would not be helpful in this situation, so I appreciate that. Okay, do we have, a motion then?
So the only motion we have on the floor right now is a motion to table.
Right, which I'll rescind that motion.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to adopt?
Well, I haven't had that happen yet.
So I'll defer to the law department, but in my experience, the cleanest way to handle this is someone needs to make a motion. Somebody either make a second, or it dies for a lack of second, and either vote it up or down, and not to leave it in limbo.
That sounds like a great plan.
Do you
I would
have
suggest
something
that's the best way.
I would like to make a motion to accept the recommendation of approval for this particular ordinance.
I'll second.
Ms. Ganku, please call the roll.
Ms. Nenny,
Yes.
Mr. Moon,
No.
Mr. Mulligan,
No?
Mayor Condrey,
No?
Ms. Vittori.
Yes.
It does not pass.
We have tabled item 3, correct?
Was the next thing I was going to indicate. Number 3 has been tabled, so we'll move on to number 4. Resolution R 2021-31, a resolution authorizing the city manager to submit an application to the Ohio Public Works Commission for project year 36, requesting funds for the resurfacing and reconstruction of various streets throughout the city and restoration of curbs, gutters, driveway aprons, and sidewalks deemed defective by the city, and to enter into agreements for such funding. Here for a first reading.
Mr. Palanick, would you like to comment on this?
Yes, Madam Mayor, members of council, this is our yearly grant request to the Ohio Public Works Commission to, in a sense, do our local street resurfacing and reconstruction for various streets at any given year. For this upcoming year, we're estimating $2.7 million. The grant would be $800,000. The remaining funds would come locally, and they would be divided up as $1 million coming from the auto and gas tax, $600,000 from our stormwater CIP, and then $300,000 would get paid through property assessments to individual properties for sidewalk and drive aprons. So again, kind of a yearly normal process that we go through, and this would be for the upcoming year.
Any comments or questions from council at this time?
Next matter for your consideration is ordinance number O 2021-64, an ordinance authorizing the city to enter into an enterprise zone agreement with Phoenix Metals, providing for a new manufacturing facility as a development project and tax exemption pursuant to the Ohio Enterprise Zone Program. Also here for a first reading.
Mr. Palanick.
Yes, Director Lyons and her staff have been working for a very long time on a really good economic development project that would involve the construction of a substantial new industry in our community. So I would like Chriselle to take an opportunity to come up and explain the details of that to you.
Good evening. Good evening. This is a fun project we get to talk about. As Ms. City Manager Palanick had mentioned, our department has been working on this project for close to 2 years. Phoenix Metals is a subsidiary of Reliance Steel, and you also might be aware, though, that Precision Strip is also a subsidiary of Reliance Steel, so they have a large presence here in our community. Phoenix Metals is essentially the conduit, the bridge between the producers of steel and the consumers. So they do slitting, they do coating, cutting, whatever they need to get to their customers. They're a great company. They're looking to acquire, actually they've acquired land on Made Enterprise Park. They are going to build a 156,000 square foot facility. They're going to retain approximately 60 jobs and create 20 jobs over the next 3 years. So it's exciting because this is a retention project and it's a growth project here in our community. We have offered them a 10-year, 75% tax abatement. To note, the payroll is less than $1 million, so there isn't any compliance or money due back to the Middletown City Schools. But essentially, that's what it is. They're a really good company. They've been in constant communications with our department. We've been following with them. They've been working with Cincinnati commercial contractors to build a nice quality building. So we're really proud of this project.
Just to confirm, it's a property tax abatement, right?
Yes,
Okay.
enterprise.
I thought you said payroll, and I maybe didn't heard it wrong. Okay.
Okay, yep,
Thank you.
Ms. Lyons, do they own their current building or leasing?
they do.
They do. Will they keep that building, or do we know?
We don't know. Yep, but we're going to stay close to them to make sure and fill it up. So it's they're currently located off of Hook Drive, so they're the first building you see right off of Carmody.
Yeah, that was my question, what was going to happen to their old facility, and if there would be also any associated remediation or anything needed to make that facility usable by another.
I don't know. Our goal would be to fill it up with more than 60 jobs. That would be my goal, so.
Great work. I know that's been a long time.
Yeah, it has been, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ready? next matter is Resolution R 2021-32, a resolution to make adjustments to appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Middletown, counties of Butler and Warren, State of Ohio, for the period ending December 31st, 2021, involving the Sanitary Sewer Fund. Here for a first reading.
Great. Mr. Palanick, do you have comments on this one?
Yes, Madam Mayor, members of City Council, this would be a budget amendment for our fiscal year 2021 budget, specifically to add a supplemental appropriation to allow for a not to exceed additional expenditure of $50,000 to Chemtrade Chemicals for the purchase of a ferric sulfate for our water reclamation facility. This is a standard yearly chemical that we use as part of the dewatering process, and you make an estimate every year about the amount of chemicals that tend to be used. In this case, the year required a good deal more than had been anticipated or budgeted, so this is simply as part of the normal processing. We need some additional supplemental appropriation, would come from the sewer fund.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from council?
I noticed that some of the additional usage had to do with a hole that was found and that has been remediated. Should we anticipate any other similar problems happening? What is the?
I will allow Department of Public Works and Utilities Director Scott Tadish to speak to that specifically.
So in short, they had one of the, and forgive me, I don't know all the details, but one of the reactors down for maintenance for a long time, which required them to use more of the ferric, which in tune now we're going to be over budget for the year. So
But that's a problem that is fixed?
yeah, it's been fixed.
It's
Sorry.
been fixed. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And the last matter for your consideration this evening is Ordinance O 2021-65, an ordinance amending the pay and benefits ordinances, ordinance number O 2020-69, and ordinance number O 2020-70, here for a first reading.
Thank you. Mr. Palanick?
Madam Mayor, members of council, as you know, we have pay and benefits ordinances that we periodically alter based on, needs of the organization. This specific ordinance amendment looks to do two separate things. Number one, it would create for the first time an Assistant Development Services Director. It would place that job classification within pay ranges 175 under the 2020-69 ordinance and 273 under the 2020-70. And then the second thing it would do would be to allow for an increase to the amount that we currently allow for signing bonuses. The current ordinance says that up to $1,000 with approval by the finance director and city manager. This would increase that to $3,000. As we've indicated a number of times recently, it's becoming more and more difficult in particularly highly competitive jobs to find people. This gives us just a little bit more flexibility to potentially find some of those folks and to bring them on. So that would be the two changes to the ordinance.
Any comments? Okay. With that, we move to new business. Do we have any items you would like to bring up for new business this evening? Everybody wants to get National Night Out. All right. Well, with that being said, our next meeting will be August the 9th at, hang on,
5:30 p.m.
5:30 p.m.
Community
in the community room at the Middletown High School. So until then, blue skies over Middletown. Thank you.